Hey, Danny Ray with Pinnacle Quote Life Insurance Specialists, and I want to come to you today and talk about a very important topic, okay, that affects a lot of Americans. I think 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. That's diabetes. Okay, I spoke about diabetes in a previous video. This is going to be a little more in detail. It's very important, okay, that you understand how the impact of diabetes has on life insurance rates. Okay, a lot of questions, I get from clients, all right? Again, if you have diabetes, is it still possible to get cheap life insurance? Okay, most people understand the importance of life insurance. Okay, without it, your family is unprotected if you unexpectedly pass away and you leave us. All right, they'll be left to pay, debt, final expenses, any kind of loose ends, medical bills. Okay, not only can life insurance plan cover those costs, okay, but it's also going to replace your income, provide for your family a lot of financial assistance over the years, especially if you have young children, okay? Now, however, life insurance is not so easy to get for some people, okay? They're like people that are diagnosed with diabetes can have trouble getting affordable life insurance coverage, okay? Or trouble even getting accepted at all, depending on how well managed the diabetes is. Okay. Now, this is because life insurance companies are concerned that the potential life-threatening health risk associated with diabetes could impair and shorten your life. Okay, getting affordable life insurance for diabetics or people with diabetes, okay, is beginning to get a lot easier because of medical advances. Okay, diabetic life insurance options, although 10, 20, 30 years ago, are a lot different than they are today. Okay, and different varying prices depending on what kind of medications you take. Okay, so type 1 versus type 2. Which diabetes do you have? Okay, again, both will have an impact and both will be labeled as high-risk life insurance. I'm going to go ahead and explain to you the general difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Now, type 1 diabetes, those that are diagnosed with type 1, I have somebody that my son's mother was type 1 diabetic at age 6. That's when you do not produce any insulin properly, or you don't produce any insulin at all. Usually type 1 diabetes is diagnosed when people are young. Okay, only about 5% of the people with diabetes have type 1 diabetes. There's no cure, okay, but type 1 diabetes can be managed with treatments like insulin therapy. Okay. One of the problems with getting life insurance for a type 1 diabetic is that companies often aren't sure how this relatively rare condition should affect premiums. Now, the rule of thumb is usually with a type 1 diabetic, if you're diagnosed before the age of 16, there's a good chance you're not going to get coverage until you're 45. Now, what I mean by that, at age 45, okay, that's when doors open for a guaranteed acceptance policy. It's very unfortunate, okay, that it's like that. But again, that's why it's very important also to make sure you get your children whole life policies, a juvenile life insurance policy, because of the fact that it's very cost effective when they're young, but also, God forbid, if they have any kind of health impairment that deems them uninsurable, they have life insurance because of you. Okay, so again, type 1 diabetes is basically when your pancreas is not producing insulin, or your body's not producing insulin properly, and you have to take injections, okay, via insulin therapy. Okay, type 2 diabetes, this is by far the most common type of diabetes. People with type 2 diabetes suffer from insulin resistance. Okay, this causes the pancreas to create extra insulin to make up for it. Blood glucose levels builds up in the blood instead of reaching the body cells where it needs to go. Remember, blood sugars are the food for your cells. Eventually, this can damage people's eyes, their heart, nerves, kidneys, just to name a couple. Now, blood glucose levels can be managed with proper diet and exercise. Okay, insulin injections and medication may be necessary if it's unmanaged. All right, but type 2 diabetes tends to get worse over time. But again, however, since type 2 diabetes is more understood by life insurance companies, it's quite possible that you can get affordable rates in your life insurance. Okay, and again, when it comes down is A1C. That's the most important factor when you're looking at life insurance, is two things actually. The age of diagnosis and your current A1C, and making sure there's not fluctuations of A1Cs. Now, when you apply for life insurance, again, with having diabetes, especially if you're under the age of 50, okay, they will get medical records. Now, if you have an A1C that's 12 or 13, which is declined by every carrier out there, and right now, but you have it managed now, you're down in the 6s and 7s, they're going to look at that in an adverse way, okay, and possibly rate you higher, okay? So it's good to have a couple of years of stable A1Cs if you want to get the best rate. Now, again, when you apply for life insurance and you have diabetes and type 2, okay, the best rate you're going to get is a Standard Plus, okay? That's your preferred rate. You will never get preferred rates again, okay? That's just the way it is. Okay, now, with that being said, again, since type 2 diabetes is more understood by life insurance companies, it's quite possible to get that Standard Plus rate. Now, what will life insurance companies, want to know about your condition? Okay, a lot of people ask me that question. What are they going to need to know? Why do they need to know this? When applying for a diabetic life insurance policies, okay, or somebody has diabetes that is applying for life insurance, be prepared to answer several questions about your diabetes. Again, I just went over a little bit, but remember, the most honest information that you provide, the higher chance that they will be lenient to you as far as rates are concerned. Okay, I can't stress it enough. When you have any kind of a health impairment, especially diabetes, just completely be an open book. These insurance companies have ways of finding out all this stuff, okay? MIB search, HIPAA form that you have to sign, medical records. They're going to be taking your blood. They know. So be upfront. Don't hide anything. If you hide anything, you could be blackballed with other insurance companies because they upload this stuff even if you're a decline. Okay. Now, with that being said, this is obviously because life insurance companies are very hesitant to cover people that do not adequately and accurately answer application questions. I'm reading it right out of the manual right now. Okay. Here's a few example of questions they're going to ask. Again, just to reiterate what I just said, when were you diagnosed? Again, the younger you're diagnosed, the more impact it's going to have on your rate, because statistics say that the longer you have type 2 diabetes, that's the worse off it's going to affect your body. The younger you are, the more your rate's going to be as far as rating class. Okay, again, being young, even if you're rated higher, is still going to enable you to get a good rate because you're taking advantage of your young age. Okay, what type of medications are you taking to manage those diabetes? You taking metformin? You taking insulin? Okay, which type of diabetes do you have? Type 1, type 2. Again, type 1 is something that's extremely rare. I mean, 1 out of every 20 diabetics has that. All right, so it's and again, if you get diagnosed underneath 16, you're probably not going to get coverage. All right, have you been recently hospitalized due to the diabetic condition? Okay, another question would be, what was your last blood sugar levels? As a diabetic, you need to know this stuff. Okay, some insurance companies or agents, if they ask you what your A1C was and you don't know it, that penalizes you 2 table ratings. Okay, so it's very important. All right. On top of this, they'll need to ask you, general questions, obviously, like they would for any applicant, which would include height and weight. Do you use any form of tobacco? Now, if you have diabetes and you're a tobacco user, that is a double whammy. Okay, not only are you paying 2 or 3 times more expensive because you're smoking cigarettes and slowly killing yourself, but factor in diabetes, you can easily pay 5 or 6 times more, or they'll just decline you. I know carriers that if you have diabetes and you smoke cigarettes, it's borderline decline, because smoking affects your cardiovascular system. Diabetes affects your heart, your arteries. It all ties in together. Smoking just makes everything worse. All right. What's your occupation? Obviously, if you're hanging on the side of a building cleaning windows, 35 stories up, it's going to have some sort of effect in your life insurance. Or you're married. Okay. Do you have any children? Okay. Things of that nature. Now, again, if you still can't get approved, you might want to consider a no medical exam life insurance policy or a guaranteed issue or a guaranteed acceptance. But again, I have carriers that will approve you. Okay, I have carriers that specialize in diabetes. Okay, AIG and Banner Life are by far the best out there. Okay, so those are the 2 go-to carriers if you do have any kind of diabetes. All right, and again, getting the best rates, you got to shop around. We do that for you. Remember, here at Pinnacle Quote, okay, it's like if you're talking to me, it's like talking to 50 individual agents. My question is this: would you rather speak to one agent for 5 minutes to decipher through those 50 carriers that isolate the 1 or 2 policies that's best for you, or would you like to sit down with individually with 50 different insurance agents, giving you 50 different stories, all claiming they have the best rate, taking weeks to do it? I think you know the answer to that. All right, so again, I'll keep you on the phone for 5-10 minutes, ask you a few questions about health and lifestyle. I already know where to go anyway, depending if you're completely healthy or if you have any kind of health impairments. Okay, and it's very important to work with an independent agent. Captive agents are hogtied to offer you proprietary products from the insurance company that employs them. As an independent agent, nobody employs me. I employ myself. I am contracted with multiple carriers, so I have access to every one of those products. Their prices are the same prices of the agent that goes out that works for them that I give to you. So again, from a click of a button, I shop you the 50 carriers out there, all AA plus rated carriers, the creams of the crop, the best of the best, to make sure that you properly get the best coverage for you and your family and you're not overpaying. Okay, so with that being said, that's a little bit about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Feel free to give me a call at 855-380-3300 extension 2, or visit us on the web at pinnaclequote.com. You're going to get an instant quote right on the website. It takes literally 2 minutes to do. And also there's a chat box at the bottom of the page. And visit our blog. Okay, you can search through our blog and get health impairments. Okay, and you can Google. You can pretty much search right through the website on the blog page, and stuff like blood pressure, diabetes, high risks. Life insurance policies, and you'll actually read about it, so you can educate yourself as well. And again, you can also get a quote on there as well. All right, so again, it's a Danny Ray with Pinnacle Quote, 855-380-3300, and stay healthy and be safe.